Welcome, everyone,
Good
to
afternoon.
Word of Mouth.
It's 3:20 in Birmingham, Alabama. We're sitting on a beautiful front porch of our friend Austin's house.
I was the first choice today.
Today,
That's
I was the first choice.
that's another
After
flaw.
the first choice fell through. After the first choice fell through, I was the first choice.
Yeah.
Hey, I was stoked to do the other guy. He'll be on one day, I'm sure. But I'm not mad that we're just hanging out on Austin's front porch.
Well, yeah,
instead,
I talked to Austin yesterday, and I was like, well, we're supposed to get this guy, but I haven't confirmed with him yet. And then Austin volunteered to come on, and I was a little bit selfishly like, it'd be a lot easier to just hang out with my buddy Austin than like have to think up some interview questions for this like guy I've never met.
No, please ask me. We can
I'll
pretend
like
to be
you're
him.
that guy.
Yeah. Ask
Okay.
the exact same.
I was texting JP this week, and I said we should do 2-minute rapid fire questions with him for an hour and a half. Just for an hour and a half. It's every 2 minutes. Question, you have, a minute and a half to answer, and then we move on. And it's just like super intense.
50 straight 2-minute questions. We have to ask the question for 90 straight seconds. You get to answer the question for 90 straight seconds. Do you think you could come up with a question that is 90 seconds long, the question, and it like needs to be 90 seconds long? I don't think I could.
That when you asked Chloe about AI on our last podcast,
That actually was
you took like 5 minutes to ask her about it.
Yeah.
It depends on how much context you have to give for the question.
Sure.
Austin, welcome to WAM.
Thank you. I'm
You
glad.
want to tell our guests who you are?
Yes. My name is Austin Eck. I am a fast food connoisseur. I prefer to reverse into parking spaces. And, oh man, I had a good third one.
It's okay. You got about an hour and a half to remember.
No, those are the only two that matters about me, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I relate to you on one of those things. I also back into parking spaces.
Yeah, why do y'all think y'all do that?
I think it's easier.
I also think that. And I like pulling out
Yeah.
and being able to see
Yeah.
when I leave.
Both, I think, makes it better. I'm always surprised more people pull in forward,
Yeah.
but that's all we need to say about
Yeah.
that.
Especially when you have a backup camera. It's so easy to back in.
But more importantly, I love fast food. So
Yep. That's what we were here to talk about for.
This is my rationale whenever I am deciding. If I pull in, I'm like, how late am I? Or not how late am I? Or just like in general, how easy do I want this to be? Because it's always like, for me, I'm always like, it'll be, like I'm so quick to make the harder thing later than right now. And I feel like when you pull into a parking spot like at Walmart, you're going to make, like if you back in, your experience leaving is so much better because it's just super easy to just pull out of the spot if you're facing forward. But getting into Walmart, I'm always just like, this is so overwhelming. So many people in this parking lot. I don't want to make anybody mad. I don't want to blah, blah, blah. And then I kind of just resort to thoughtlessness. Let's get it over with as fast as I can. What do y'all think about that? Whenever y'all pull into a Walmart parking lot, are y'all affected by how many people are around, all the different moving pieces and stuff? Or are you just like, I'm going to park the way that I park?
Yeah, I just back in every time. I back in every time.
At Walmart, I park really, really far away because I don't want people to run their carts into my car. So I'll park far away where I can just pull through the parking space and then be backed in, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I feel that too. Whenever I'm in my like best headspace, one of the decisions that I make where I'm like, it's a telltale sign that I'm in a good mental space, is I park pretty far away, like everywhere that I go.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's always something that I never do whenever I'm in a bad mood, headspace, whatever you want to call it. What are things like that for y'all? Like, what's something that you do all the time when you're having good vibes that you never do whenever you're having bad vibes? It's a good question.
That's a good question. I think when I'm having bad vibes, I eat more sugar.
I think definitely gluttony is one for me for sure.
Yeah.
I eat like Austin, I don't know. Let's actually, maybe I'll wait to be super opinionated about whether that's good or bad until after the fast food talk. But what about you, Austin? Good vibes versus bad vibes actions.
I think
It's kind of similar to the how do you treat yourself after a bad day question. It's kind of
yeah.
kind of like that.
yeah. See, my mind more went to where like things that I'm doing more when I am happy.
Yeah.
And I think I'm pretty like I usually just kind of like hum or sing to myself.
That's a good one.
I don't know about sad though. I guess not hum and not sing.
Yeah.
What is your internal dialect like that? Like whenever it's bad? Is it like screamo? Is it just singing but in negative ways, or is it?
No, I don't think the music doesn't change. Music is completely dependent on the season for me. So like fall, it's like I've got my 10, 15 people I always listen to in the fall. And then if I discover somebody new, then whatever season I start listening to them in is like that's their season, like kind of forever. So, but whether I'm happy or sad, it doesn't change if it's the fall. It's the same music.
That's pretty cool. I've never really heard of someone listening to music in that way. What's like
So like fall.
Yeah, I mean right now it's probably Bon Iver, knowing you.
Yeah, he's pretty. I listen to him a bunch in the fall. Listen to Bahamas a ton in the fall. Myers and I's first friendship experience. I invited him to a Bahamas concert.
Put your mic more like up here. Yeah.
I invited him to a Bahamas concert.
Why did you invite me to that?
So I hadn't even really listened to them that much, but I really just like I just wanted to like I was kind of in the middle of a lot of studying, and so I felt like I just wanted to do something fun. And I know like one or two of their songs, and then I was like, I can't go by myself, and I didn't know anybody that would have known them. That I was like, who should I invite? And so I just texted you, which I don't think we've ever even.
We had like never hung out.
Yeah, I don't think.
And I was just like, I had never listened to Bahamas either. I was just like, this sounds fun. I'll go hang out with Austin. And then we like were in each other's weddings, basically. Not because of that, but we started hanging out because of that.
Because of that. Yeah.
Yeah, because that was like we had literally never. I think when I texted you to ask you that concert, the last time I had texted you was when you were like a freshman and I was a sophomore.
Yeah.
In PiCap, and I like texted you to some fraternity thing.
Yeah, do some fraternity
it's
thing.
literally been like 4 years probably since I individually texted you.
Yeah.
And then, do you want to go to Bahamas? Like I think it was just the one sentence.
Literally.
Anyways.
Wow. How did you ask that question? Did you say, do you want to go to the Bahamas? Or did you have to say concert? Do you want to
I
go
think
to
you probably
Bahamas.
said go
Bahamas.
see Bahamas or something.
Yeah, I think Bahamas concert. I don't remember, but
And it was kind of a weird concert too.
it was good.
It was
It's a
good.
good band to randomly go to.
Yeah.
If you'll never listen to them. That's
Well,
super random.
he was up there by himself with electric guitar for the whole thing. Like up until the end, there was no drummer, there's no anybody else. So, but I actually
That's crazy.
I really liked it though. So listened to him a ton in the fall. Dayglow is a fall band for me. End of summer, beginning of fall. There's a couple others. I'd have to look. Lizzie
McAlpine.
McAlpine.
Dude.
Do you have like
Yes.
playlists? Like fall playlists?
No, it's just albums.
Okay.
I'll just listen to certain albums because then sometimes artists get split between different seasons.
Right.
So, like Bon Iver's first two albums are fall for me, or no, his first album's fall, his second one's like January, and then his third album's back to fall. I've got like a Excel spreadsheet.
I think
with
his
it.
Actually?
Yeah, I do. So I can sort it by month. So I sort by month. So in October I can sort by month, and I've got like the 10 albums.
I'm gonna title this episode Austin Eck, the Excel God.
Just Excel. Everything's
Do you
better
think-
with Excel.
Everything is Excel.
Do you think as a guy who does have good taste like yourself, that isn't super common for accountants, okay? I know you're not an accountant anymore, but you know what I mean. You're into spreadsheets. Do you think that you've ever been in the middle of a spreadsheet, like an Excel sesh, and been like, have you ever scratched like the artist itch in the middle of it? Like, I'm so in the zone right now. Like, this is kind of an art form because of how much I'm in the zone right now. Because I wonder that about, like, deep, is that left brain people, right? That are, like, super logical and, like, mathematic and stuff?
I think
I don't remember.
I think
No,
that's
right
right.
brain.
But it might.
I've always been curious if right brain people, in a way, are, like, fully developed, enlightened left brain people. Because I feel like order is so helpful, too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I have like a lot of fun Excel spreadsheets for myself that I just like to mess around in with, like basketball or like a lot of NBA spreadsheets that I do stuff in for fun, or like music spreadsheet.
For your 10-year-long fantasy league that you're in.
Yeah, my 10-year dynasty league that I also have a podcast for, which is
Yeah, plug your podcast.
no, I'm not.
Plug yourself.
I'm not going to say the name of it. It's only meant.
He's keeping it private for his 2 listeners.
Yeah, I think we get like 5 listeners a week, so it's not like it's actually a thing. But
How many people are in the league?
there's 12. And
What the
actually-
heck?
well,
The
no,
7
we get-
other guys.
we-
Yo, what
no,
are
we-
y'all not getting listened?
We probably get 7 or 8. So we get most of the league, but nobody else. Anyways, so I'm not going to say the name of it. but
Okay, that's one of the areas that I've dipped my toes into. So we can. I'd love to double click this right here, because
Double click.
spreadsheets for fantasy are super helpful. I don't play fantasy basketball, but did you get them from like a Reddit template, or did you literally like from the ground up build your own? Like, are you stat tracking for your fantasy, or is it literally just for fun? You're just stat tracking.
yeah, it's actually yeah, I mostly just do it on my own. And they're not like super intricate. It's usually carbonated Fresca. It's just for myself. So, and I just kind of build them out. It's not from anything online, but I do have a couple different things that I'll grab from online if it's like an NFL pick'ems or something like that. There's good stuff like that online, but no, Excel is incredible. I think it's so cool.
Yeah.
It's magical.
I actually do love it. It's like
I think it's really
you.
cool. I use it every now and then for random stuff, but it's really satisfying when you build a full sheet and it interacts with itself and you can keep track of things and
yeah.
yada 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 yada.
Yeah, we have
Nerd
construction
stuff.
going on in front of our house, and they stopped for a while. It looks like they might be starting again.
Looks like their lunch break is over now.
It should
We'll
be
see.
fine. I think. I hope.
I
I might be able to. Yeah, that's the beeping you were talking about.
Yeah.
I might be able to find a way to like edit out background noise or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's super interesting. I feel like Excel is one of those things where I don't really know what to compare it to, but I feel like there's an amount of depth to it that is completely unknown to the vast majority of users.
Yeah, if you go in Excel and you press equal to do any kind of formula, and it will just auto show like all the different formulas they have.
Yeah,
It's like 5,000. I don't know. I use like 10.
it's crazy.
My dad built an entire accounting system for a multiple $100 million company using just Excel.
Yeah.
It's crazy. He managed like 50 LLCs with a big old Excel sheet,
Yeah.
document system, whatever that he built. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Powerful tool.
It's awesome. But we don't have to talk about Excel anymore.
Anyways,
I could talk about Excel for forever, but I don't.
that's your other podcast you're starting. You've got an NBA
NBA.
fantasy
Excel.
podcast, and then we're gonna start an Excel podcast.
Today we're going to be talking about X lookup.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, so let's jump into fast food loves. Why? Okay, first off, how did you get to a place where one of your primary descriptive factors is your love of fast food?
I've always eaten a lot of fast food. No, that's definitely not true. My mom would not be happy to hear that. I don't think I started eating. I didn't eat that much fast food probably till college, but I don't think I realized how much of it I ate until I started, until I graduated and I started working with, 35-year-olds, and they would, you're just in small talk to be like, what'd you eat for lunch or whatever, and you'd say McDonald's or whatever fast food, and then over time they're like, you eat more fast food than anybody I know. And so then I kind of had to do a little internal audit of I eat way too much fast food, but I do love it, and I'll probably have to eat way less of it once we have kids. Then I figured this is kind of like I do have a window that's not gonna close, but is closing in terms of frequency. So
why do you think you'll have to stop when you have kids?
Because you don't want to feed your kids a bunch of fast food.
Does Lucy also eat a lot of fast food?
No, she doesn't.
It's just you?
Me. It's just me. It's just me. I eat cookout 3 times a week.
That's crazy.
Honestly, I'm not far behind you there. This is
do you feel
podcast or no cookout has come up?
Do you feel good?
Well, cookout, you can make your cookout order be, they're going to a fall festival.
Austin's little kid neighbors walked outside and they're dressed up as Darth Vader and I guess
Charlie's Darth Vader. Their grandma's in town.
Love. Are they from Mississippi?
Yeah, the Claire, the mom, is from Mississippi. The dad's from Alabama.
Dude, let's go, man.
And then Grace is gonna come out in a clown costume. But
I love that. Okay, so you're a lot of people around you were saying you eat fast food more than anyone I know.
Yeah. So, and I do. I love fast food. I think there's.
What's your go-to cookout order? Before we move on from that,
it's a Cajun chicken sandwich, no tomato, 2 chicken quesadillas, cheerwine float, and that's a tray, and then a hot dog
on the side.
Wow.
On the side.
I've never heard of somebody getting the Cajun
that is
chicken
dialed.
sandwich.
That is a dialed in cookout order right there.
But
did you ever get the burger or did you?
Yeah, I've gotten the burger. Their Cajun chicken sandwich, it's grilled.
Yeah.
So
it's a little bit
it's healthy.
It feels way healthier. I mean, it's better than.
I'm definitely gonna try it.
Because then if I ever go to McDonald's, it's a lot of it's just Big Macs, and you don't feel good after those, even though they do taste awesome. But cookout, that's usually my go-to. But and then there's also anytime late night, which anytime after 10 p.m. it's Taco Bell.
Taco Bell
is also.
I feel like whenever
unreal.
I was in college or whenever we were in college, that was what I remembered you being the biggest fiend about was freaking Taco Bell.
Yeah, my freshman and sophomore year for track, we were supposed to be eating 5,000 calories a day in the fall and the winter. We weren't in season and we were trying to put on some weight. And so
freaking crazy.
And so I talked with my parents about it, and we were they were good to help me out to buy more food when I needed it. And so it was a lot of fast food because that's kind of the best way to get calories. Because at that point, it's you do want healthy calories, but if you're working out 5 or 6 hours a day, you kind of just need to put anything in your body at some point. And then once you're in season, it should be a lot more healthy. But
what would you have to eat if you ate healthy to consume 5,000 calories?
Gosh.
You would have to eat so much food.
Yeah, because even chicken breast has a lot of protein in it, and it's super filling. But if you look at calories, it's not
it's those bodybuilders on TikTok or whatever who are eating just eggs and
peanut
steak
butter.
Exactly.
and peanut butter and yogurt.
Yeah, that one guy,
peanut butter and Greek yogurt and eggs.
World's Strongest Man does a half a jar of peanut butter every single day. That's freaking crazy.
You're talking about what's his name? Bumstead?
Mm-hmm, I'm sure.
Mr. Olympia, that guy?
Yeah, it was
Bumstead.
the dude who couldn't brush his teeth because his arms wouldn't
I think it's a
wrap
different
around
guy.
far enough.
Oh my God.
It's crazy. But yeah, that's crazy to me because I actually I'll say when I'm eating the healthiest, I eat smoothies in the morning, and I'm probably eating a jar of peanut butter every 2.5 weeks, maybe even more. And that I couldn't imagine. I would hate I would hate peanut butter if I had to eat a half a jar of it every single day. Oh my gosh. Do you think there's anything on earth that you could eat that much of every single day and still like?
Cookout quesadillas, probably.
Cookout quesadillas or maybe.
Chicken fried rice.
Yeah, I honestly
Fried rice.
maybe
That's a good
could
one.
eat a roast con pollo every single day. Or
I was
pollo
on a
loco.
6,000 calorie diet growing up because of CF. And I'm trying to remember. I ate a ton of.
Melted ice cream and just drinking it.
Well, yeah, my doctors would be like, "Go get milkshakes and hamburgers," and I was like, "Well, I'm gonna get like sick if I eat that every single day," and so I would eat a lot of smoothies, and we'd put a bunch of stuff in those smoothies, peanut butter and protein and yogurt and all that kind of stuff. I would eat that a lot.
Can you take? You know, you can get caffeine via pill. Can you take calorie pills? Is that a thing?
I don't think so.
I don't know what that would be made out of.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't even really know what calories are.
Like in
I
my
know
head,
that-
calories is like literal volume. That
yeah.
I don't know. I
You-
would
you-
imagine not.
I feel like even if it was like crumble cookies, like something that was amazing, if I had to eat it, if I'd eat thousands of calories of it every day, I still wouldn't like it.
Yeah.
I couldn't take it.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You did 5,000 calories. So you would, I guess, during 5,000 calorie things, you would just eat Taco Bell all the time.
Yeah. That was a lot of Taco Bell. I didn't like McDonald's as much as I do now then, so I wasn't eating as much of it then, but it was a lot of almost all Taco Bell. It was a lot of Taco Bell. I would go and spend like $20, which is different. Taco Bell $20 like
That's a lot of food.
7 years ago is
Yeah.
significantly it's easy to spend $20 Taco Bell now.
Yeah.
Which is a huge bummer, but
That's actually crazy
the
that
prices have gone through the roof. It's annoying.
Myers, do you eat McDonald's ever?
I will probably sound pretentious in this conversation, but I eat fast food maybe once a month. I like never eat fast food.
Wow.
I
Couldn't be me.
Opposite.
Well, I mean, I don't really eat fast food I eat Chick-fil-A a lot. But besides Chick-fil-A, I'll go get cookout milkshakes with students like maybe twice a week. But like eating an actual meal out like fast food, I pretty much always get Chick-fil-A. But I don't do it that much either. I eat a bunch of like middle class, like I don't know what to call that. Like
Fast casual.
I ate a bunch of
Like
Onopoke.
Chipotle.
I don't really go anywhere besides like local Birmingham places. I go to
But
Taco
that
Mama,
level of
yeah,
food.
that kind of stuff. I eat it like all the freaking time. McDonald's is one of those things where for whatever reason, like I'll stop at a Bojangles, I'll stop at I'll go to Arby's, I'll go to Taco Bell. I freaking love Taco Bell. I love Cookout, but for whatever reason, McDonald's, I'm like, that's just gross. Like,
It's
you know what I mean?
no, I don't.
Well, no, you said you used to not like
kidding.
McDonald's.
No.
So I'm curious, like, how did
So-
you get to a place where
No.
now you're like proud McDonald's lover?
So this is I don't want to lead into the Myers business segment, but
Please do.
this is like so there's an article, the Wall Street Journal wrote an article about McDonald's within the last year, maybe over a year ago, I don't know. But
Okay.
basically so over time McDonald's went from like their burger size, if you look, had continued to shrink. Like the quality had continued to go down because they were expanding. They wanted to be on every corner, every exit, whatever. So
Yeah.
they were just getting all over the world. And then now they kind of are. They basically, yes, they are. And so if you look at their burger size and their quality of food over the last like 5 years, it's gone up a lot. Like they put more sauce on their burgers. Their burger size has gotten bigger. Their quarter pounder cheese was a big part of the marketing campaign to having
Interesting.
better fast food in terms of like a good burger. Like for people who like myself who love fast food, the quarter pounder cheese is maybe the best like individual quality burger you can. I have to be careful when I say this because it sounds dumb, but they actually do. Like the quarter pounder cheese is like I think it's better than any burger you get at Wendy's. I think the meat tastes better than any burger you get at Wendy's or any other like fast food place. So, anyways, all I'd say, I grew up not eating that much McDonald's, not really caring for it, and then in the they started to improve, and then all of a sudden I thought it was just this one very specific McDonald's that was like incredible. I was like, oh, this one. All the other ones might be bad, but like the one right next to the one in Montclair
Yeah.
is like, oh, this one's awesome. And then I would stop at other ones. I was like, wait, all these are good. And then the article came out and I read it and they had talked about how they're just like
across the board.
Across the board,
quality.
they're wanting all the quality to be better.
Fascinating.
So if you haven't legitimately given it a try in a couple years, then
I'm definitely going to try McDonald's because I like Big Macs.
They're like, if you go, I will say it's still like, if you go at like 3 p.m. or like 10 p.m., not saying that I do that often, but sometimes I do grab Big Macs at random non-meal times.
Yeah.
And then they're not as good. So you would want to go during
noon.
Yeah, when things are actually
fresh.
Yeah, when they're pushing stuff through. So if you go at one of those points, like, and it's like, it's awesome. The Big Mac's incredible. And they have a chicken Big Mac right now. I haven't tried it yet. I'm actually kind of a little scared of it.
That's crazy.
I don't know if I'd like it, but
I guess
100% need to try it.
Is it McChicken fillets, I guess?
Yeah.
Dude, that sounds actually so freaking good. Big Mac sauce on chicken?
Because because it's Thousand Island sauce, and Thousand Island's like, it's a salad sauce or salad dressing.
Yeah, it's a salad sauce.
and it usually is a salad with chicken, right? Like Thousand Island probably naturally goes with chicken more than beef anyways, right?
Yeah. That's super true. They might be onto something. I mean, also, it's like, I feel like McDonald's got to have like a lab.
Hungry
somewhere.
now?
Yeah. No, the other thing is they have an app, and let me pull it up. Their app is incredible.
Do you get points and stuff like Chick-fil-A?
There are points. The points are fine, but the points aren't the better part.
They just give away free stuff all the time.
They always have deals on the app.
I feel like I eat fast food enough to just be able to take advantage of deals. Does that make sense? Like get enough points to get enough free sandwiches from Chick-fil-A. They love to send out those free
all the time.
Single item things.
Especially like if like local university football games or local like high school games.
Mm-hmm.
If a certain team wins, then if you're like in a certain area, they'll give everybody in that. Like you don't have to even have a ticket. You just have to be in that area to claim it.
Yeah.
That if you're particular about that, you can definitely get a lot of free stuff. But the McDonald's app, so they always have like right now my deals are free any size fries with any purchase, and then a $2 breakfast sandwich. And so this isn't confirmed, but I know this because I've used the app enough, that any deal that they give you, if you use it like 2 or 3 times before it expires, then they're just going to give it to you again.
Interesting.
And so if there's a certain deal on the app that you see you like, if you use it once or twice every 2 months or every month, then you continually get that deal.
Because they just want you.
They
just want you to go all the time.
Exactly. So like right now, it's like you go get a large Coke and a large fry, and you pay like $2.50. If you do that like twice a month, then they're just going to give it to you again because they want you to come back
and hopefully buy a burger next time or whatever.
Or whatever,
bring
but you
your
don't
whole
have
family.
to, and you want to come back because it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering
Everybody
how the
needs to
heck they make.
I mean, it's incredible. The app is so awesome.
Yeah, that like the sheer volume that they just like know will follow.
This is McDonald's propaganda.
This is crazy, actually.
Oh my gosh, it's so good.
One thing that I think is super fascinating. I was talking about this yesterday on the way to Random Golf Club Mad Scramble, which I got to talk about at some point today. It was like
we'll get there.
Such a cool event. But anyways, on the way down there, we had a little Myers business segment in the car where I was just talking about Starbucks. Starbucks is the most fascinating business in the world to me. It genuinely might be the most impressive like fast food I have ever. And Starbucks is fast food. Myers coined that phrase, and I will definitely give it to him. Like Starbucks, I think the second it started becoming like super fascinating to me was the second that I stopped thinking about it as a coffee shop and I started thinking about it as a fast food establishment.
A dinky place.
Yeah. And like it is crazy to me that somehow they are the only people in the world doing refreshers. Or maybe they're not, but they're the only people who like, oh, I want to go
the
get.
only people you know that do it, which is kind of the point.
It's crazy to me.
Does Dunkin' do something like that?
I don't know, but
Dunkin' to me feels like their only competition, but then Dunkin' is not as established, and
Dunkin' in 0% seems like desirable for me. I don't know what they do to. I don't know what they did to make me be like I'm never gonna go there. But also all of their spaces are hideous and so dirty.
It's just like extension
Alabama.
of a Shell gas station.
Yeah, and when I lived in North Carolina too, all of them there are ugly. And in Atlanta, I've never seen a Dunkin' that I've been like.
I think in New England, Dunkin's better or overall. Like,
yeah, like my friend
known a little
Kayla.
more in some of those places. But.
My friend Kayla, whenever I lived in North Carolina, she is from Boston, or not from. She's from Massachusetts, but I'm sure that Boston's the same way because of this. But she lives in she's from Amherst, which is where UMass is, and she genuinely loves Dunkin'. And she was like, everybody doesn't like nobody goes to Starbucks in Massachusetts. Everybody goes to Dunkin', which I think is super interesting.
That's interesting.
But, anyways, I think that it's super interesting how you can go in. I think it is the biggest jip in the world. The fact that you can go into McDonald's and get bread, a hamburger, cheese, like a whole meal, fries on like a deal on the app for $8 or $6, or you could go to Starbucks and they put 95% water, 2% simple syrup, and then dried frozen fruit that you could get 10 pounds of for $5 into a cup, and then you pay $7 for it just because it's called the pink drink. Girls freaking love it. Like that drink genuinely has to cost 12 cents to make. It is crazy to me, and I love it. They taste so good, and I get them.
It's what I get every time because I don't like their coffee.
Yeah,
I get like the crazy dragon fruit. Slay your thirst. whatever it's called.
Have you seen I mean, I'm sure you have, but these videos are hilarious where people will go with like their 50-year-old dad who has never been to Starbucks, or their grandpa who's like 85 or 80, be like, and tell them to order a drink that like doesn't exist, and it's just like a crazy accumulation of words. And so now they're saying like the Frankie Pink Donkey Bunk or something, and he's like trying to, and he's like
looking at his
Frankie
phone.
Dink Crumpy Bump, and he's like, "What's that, sir?" Cranky Dink Flumpy Bump or whatever. It's just those are hilarious to me.
That's so funny.
Because then
just to screw with the Starbucks.
It's like
to screw with the dad, and then the dad is like indignant on like, this is a drink because I trust my daughter. Or my
16-year-old
It's
daughter.
the 16-year-old daughters getting back at their dads after the dad makes them go into O'Reilly Auto Parts to get blinker fluid.
Exactly. But those
It's
are hilarious.
revenge.
I think those are so
That
funny.
is so funny. But yeah, I think I would love to, like, I don't know if this is possible at all, but like I would love to do a deep dive on like how Starbucks financially does that. Like it is wild to me how Starbucks is by far, maybe Chick-fil-A, but I still think Starbucks is by far the cleanest and the nicest like indoor experience that you can have at a fast food restaurant. Like their food is not good. It's good enough. Like it is genuinely barely good enough. Like the food that you get there. But their products like coffee, like they're better than a bad coffee shop. Like a bad local coffee shop. They're obviously not as good as good coffee shops. But they're like oddly close, but they're not gonna make like latte art or something like that.
Yeah.
You know? Anyways, I just think I literally talk about it all day.
I'm looking at their 10K from, or their financial statements from. I'm just curious what their margins would be.
It's got to be
to your
insane.
point, because it's like they probably are spending 15 cents on those $7 refreshers, and
but their cafes are like stupid nice, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, like they probably just
Even
spend
like
all
the
their
one
money.
in Gardendale. Like the Gardendale Starbucks is like the nicest coffee shop in town.
Maybe that's the whole like thing is that like when you go into a Starbucks, and I'm not talking to somebody who is like has a high taste or something like that, but I'm saying someone who like doesn't really think about it. Starbucks makes you feel like it's elegant or something like that, but the drinks aren't. But it just feels like whatever the Kardashians, whatever that whole world is that everyone's like obsession and fascination with like the Kardashian and the Kardashian culture. Starbucks gives a product to sell that feeling, and I think it is like so fascinating.
You just feel so bad and bougie when you go in Starbucks.
You literally feel like a certified bad bougie chick. What did you take a gander at their 10K and learn anything? I don't know. I didn't know that was what a 10K.
It doesn't. I'd have to.
You'd have to dig in a bit.
No, it doesn't. I mean, it looks good.
They're doing great.
Lots of zeros.
I know this past year something happened where they stopped making money for the first time since they blew up. Something like that happened this past year. I can't remember exactly what it was.
Yeah, they have $36 billion in revenue.
Billion.
In year end of they
2023, 2024.
Yeah.
Does it say what their profits were?
Yeah, I mean they kind of lump it all together, but their product and distribution costs are $11.4 billion. So
you're looking at 20-something billion, 25 billion, something
they lump
like that.
everything together on here, so it's a little hard to see it broken out, but still
that's crazy.
Yeah, so they upcharge everything by 3 times.
One thing that we looked up the other day.
That's how it goes. Was
it on the podcast when we were like, how much money is transacted every second in America?
I think so.
It was like crazy because for me, I'm like, $35 billion. That has to be like a whole percentage point of like the American economy, and it's just not at all.
Yeah,
like that's just another. It's crazy. Like we could theoretically start a company like that, and we could build it over the course of Starbucks. I think started in 1995 or something like that.
Yeah.
Like we could be sitting here 30 years from now, and we could be in control, or we couldn't be in control of it anymore because obviously someone else would run it at that point. But we could say we started a company that accounts for $36 billion in revenue a year, runs through their accounts. That. That's crazy to me that there's room in the American economy for someone that in 1995 was a coffee shop that serves frappuccinos. And they're like, yeah, we'll probably do 36 billion one day. I'd be like, shut up. There's no freaking way.
Yeah.
That dude
that dude also, when he was getting started, could not raise money to open a second shop. Nobody wanted to do it.
Really?
Nobody would invest in him.
Everybody, it was always just a one stop. Every coffee shop, it was that was their one place.
Yeah.
That it wasn't.
Two shops that make sense.
Yeah, nobody thought that more than one would ever make sense, really.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Does he have a How We Built This or something like that?
I think it is actually a How We Built This.
To
it was some podcast like that. It was super cool. I think it was a How We Built This Live.
Oh no way!
I remember right. I forgot the guy's name.
Or something like that.
What's that guy's name? Do you remember?
Mr. Bucks.
I don't remember where I read about it, but
Mr. Star.
Mr. Bucks.
Mr. Bucks with the big bucks.
Starbucks, you say?
I think it starts with an H. Anyway.
Are you a Starbucks fan? Is Lucy a Starbucks fan?
Lucy loves Starbucks. I don't usually I don't usually buy coffee from coffee shops.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Because that's another spreadsheet that you made at one point. You rationalized buying the espresso machine, didn't you?
Yeah. Because the machine I have is just, it makes it quick and I don't have to do much with it. But
yeah.
I forgot. It is
your
just
friend work? Didn't he work at GE or something like that?
My brother-in-law's former roommate. Because my brother-in-law married my sister, so they were no longer roommates. And he worked at Phillips and would get these 20 or these 75% off on certain types of things that they had. That it's if you're Phillips and you sell these $3,000 espresso machines, you might not be selling that much of them. That every once in a while you just kind of want to get them off your hands.
Yeah.
And so they'll give their employees these huge discounts every once in a while, and so that's how we got ours.
Yeah.
I use it every day pretty much.
The only other place I've ever seen that is in a Delta Sky Lounge.
No, it is. It's
hilarious.
a hotel thing.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious. The house the house I lived at before Lucy and I got married. It was me and 4 other guys. The house was 1,400 square feet and it was super old and dated and gross. And it was that house was disgusting. But we had this espresso machine in there, and we would always laugh that if we got robbed, they'd take our $200 TV and our $100 thrifted couch, and they would leave this $3,000 espresso machine because they just wouldn't know. But it was 2 times more valuable than anything any of us I owned.
Yeah.
And I would not own it if I didn't get it for 80% off. So
yeah, that's so funny.
But
that was this. What were you wanting to change the subject?
No, I was just going to say the only other place that I've seen those kind of espresso machines was a $25 million house that I did a video of one time in Chattanooga.
Yeah.
This lady had like a separate kitchenette. It was like a breakfast nook. And she had an espresso machine like that, and then like a little like toaster oven.
Was it, because I've seen this in kitchen showrooms, was it like one of the espresso machines that was in the wall, or was it like on a countertop?
No, it was on a countertop, and it was really similar to the one that he has, but it was probably an older version because that house was built like 20 years ago or something.
Sure,
but
sure.
Anyway.
Dude, that's wild. I feel like at-home espresso is such an interesting thing. Lane talked about that the other day. He was like, he thinks that like wave, what is it? Is it third wave? Yeah, he thinks that fourth wave is just like at-home espresso. And honestly, Austin, I'd love to hear your thoughts because you kind of do this too. And so he essentially is thinking that wave 4 or the fourth wave of coffee is going to be like the death of the cafe, or just like the hyper convenient cafe, and then there's going to be no specialty coffee in between the hyper convenient cafe and at home coffee.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not like a huge coffee buff, but I've been, so the machine that I have, there's ones that look very similar to it now on Amazon for like $300.
Oh wow.
And so I feel like with a lot of like that kind of technology, if you look at prices of things over the last like 20 years, it's like generally most things in our economy go up, but then like TVs have gone down.
Yeah.
Like a $3,000, like our parents all probably bought a $2,000 TV at some point.
Yeah.
And now we can get we can get one just as big for like
get a 1,000
Yeah.
inch.
Yeah, exactly. So I think like the kind of machine I have is similar to where it was like it's a whole mechanism that does like you just put the beans in the top, the milk and the water, and then it just does it.
Yeah.
And that is like when I got it was like, this was a newer idea, but now it's becoming more to be at home or whatever. But I don't think like it doesn't make what like an actual like cafe can make. And so for people who still love coffee, they're going to want to go to a cafe, and a cafe is still just more fun. Like it's just like you don't want to be in your house the entire day.
I think Lane's off on that because going to get coffee with a buddy will always be a thing.
Yeah.
I also don't think like going to a coffee shop. I would say 90% of the time I'm going there, I'm not going there to get coffee.
Yeah.
You're just going
I'm
there
going
to, have a
to
table
hang out
between
with
you and
Austin
another person.
at lunch.
And with so many like with more and more things being online and asynchronous, like people go to coffee shops to do their school or do their whatever. Like I don't think coffee shops are going to go away, but I also am 25, so I don't
this week Porsche announced a collaboration with La Marzocco, and they made a Porsche branded La Marzocco Linea Mini, and I probably had 7 people send it to me and also showed it to everyone I came in contact with.
For the common man, Myers is talking about an espresso machine.
Yes, thank you. If you go into a coffee shop and see a square or rectangle-shaped coffee machine, it probably is a La Marzocco because most coffee shops use La Marzoccos.
Mm-hmm.
And they make what's called a Linea Mini, which if you've gone to like a small bookstore and they had a tiny espresso machine, that's probably what they had in there. Like Little Professor in Homewood has one.
It's an at-home espresso machine that's very high quality. That's like $3,500 or $1,800.
They're normally like $5,000.
Linea Minis are?
The Linea Micra is the $4,000 one.
Okay.
The Mini is normally probably like $5,000, I think, and this one was $6,500.
Wow.
And if you got the one that had like the crazy paint job, the Martini livery, it was like $7,000.
Wow.
And I tried every way I could possibly rationalize it in my brain so that I would buy one, and I couldn't make it happen. But that happened.
10
this
years
week.
too early for you, Myers.
Exactly.
10 years too early.
Yeah.
One day. Man. That's freaking crazy.
It was so sick. They only made 911 of them because Porsche 911.
Surely there's 911 people in the world that like espresso enough.
Well,
that are also Porsche.
Yeah, part of it is like Porsche guys want everything to be Porsche branded.
Yeah.
So like
what percent of the people that buy those do you think will actually use it or know how to use it?
that's what that's really what I wondered. Honestly, it might be like less than 25% genuinely. It might just be like another accessory on the wall in the garage for a lot of people. For some people like me, it is like the perfect product for me. Yeah. But I don't know how many people, like I only follow 2 or 3 people who are car guys who also have like a crazy cool espresso setup that they also flex on Instagram. I only know a couple of people like that, so I don't know how many people are actually gonna.
I still think it's hilarious how I watched Jimmy Butler's Architectural Digest video the other day. Have y'all watched it yet?
It's on my queue.
No.
I saw it.
It's he has an entire cafe in his house.
That's amazing.
Because he has a company called Big Face that's like his espresso company. But he said
Jimmy Butler is an NBA player.
Yeah, this is another really cool part about coffee that I was thinking about a lot this week because of this video. But the reason he got into coffee was because he traveled so much. The NBA travels. I mean, they do don't they do in a season? They do 4, 7 or more night road trips a year, right?
4, 7 or more. I mean, that's probably right. I'm not sure how long.
They're always spending 2 or 3 nights.
They play 41 games away.
41 games away. So yeah, and I think that this video is like talking about this, about how several months a year he's out of town for like 2 weeks, and he's like, the thing is, when you're on the road, they allot so much time for like not revitalization, that's not the word I'm looking for, but like, they play a night game
downtime.
Before. Yeah, the next day they're doing like active recovery. So like they come in, they'll shoot, but they'll only like practice for like 5 or 15 minutes. Sometimes they'll only shoot for like really short amount of time. They'll go to see the physio or the physical therapist, and then after that they'll just go hang out. They play a lot. Like all of them have these like Xbox suitcases they'll bring with like their whole gaming setup in it. It's kind of crazy. Like they'll open up the suitcase and all of their gaming setup will be like, it's like a huge laptop, the suitcases. And then, and he was like, he said he wasn't a gamer and he just like wanted to do something. And he just started going to cafes in every single city because every single city has like a coffee scene. And it was something that he just got really into. And now he owns his own coffee company. And I think he has his own coffee shop in Chicago now, too, which is really cool. But anyways, in his house in L.A., he has, like, one of his living rooms he turned into a completely, like, he has a Spirit espresso machine, which is, like, probably a $35,000 espresso machine and all this stuff. And he's selling his house. I'm like, who in the world is going to buy a house with a coffee shop inside?
When people buy super expensive houses, they just renovate it, and
they just won't even be there anymore. But I think it's so fascinating.
Yeah, I don't think I'd ever have a full on cafe in my house, but
something like
I definitely. The one missing piece from my coffee setup is a $6,000 espresso machine.
Yeah.
Happiness is only $6,500 away.
Yeah, that wouldn't be hard at all until you needed to service it and you had to pay somebody.
Well, the other thing was
an hour to fix it.
They also did a La Marzocco grinder.
Yeah, I saw that too.
The full setup is actually like
$10,000.
$10,000, give or take a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was so cool. I'll get it one day. So, what now?
All right, here's another thing I was thinking about the other day. You were talking about the people breaking in. Made me think about it with your espresso machine. And you also were talking about how a lot of things in our economy drive up. Cars, freaking houses, stuff like that. But then Amazon has done this fascinating thing where it's driven like a lot of toys, like a lot of like, Christmas gift level toys. Like it's kind of driven the resale value. Down. Maybe like the initial sell value has kind of stayed the same, but the resale value on it has decreased a ton on a lot of things like microwaves or like, I don't know, when you think about like when you watch Home Alone, people that when the stuff that they were stealing was silverware because it genuinely was like silver, I guess, jewelry, and then like a TV, and I don't know, like there's a lot of things that you could go and sell at a pawn shop, but because of Facebook Marketplace and because of Amazon just like widely and all these brands widely making all of these things available, my dad was talking to me about the other day how home break-ins aren't really that common anymore because there's nothing really to take besides jewelry or like guns or something like that, which I think is like super interesting. Like,
that's funny.
For someone to actually break into your house and steal something, like you would have to go to a very personal part of that person's house in order to find jewelry, which would be the most, like, obviously the biggest thing. And then obviously you'd have to go to a very personal part and you have to break into a gun safe in order to get guns. But besides that, like, I can't really think of anything that you would steal at a like, would they literally haul off a whole sofa? Sofas hold their value on Facebook Marketplace, but like,
it's like the hardest thing to steal.
Yeah. You'd have to literally make a whole fake like moving company van like thing.
Yeah.
Man, I miss the good old days where robbing people was worth it.
I know. I used to make, one night $600. Now it's
hard.
It's hard.
I mean, I'm lucky if I break 100,
Look at that couch
on a Tuesday.
I saw that couch on Facebook Marketplace today.
Yeah. They're already selling it. They're already selling it, and I could take it, but it's $50.
Yeah, not worth it. It's hard out there for robbers.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyways, there's our home break-in segment. All right, so I'm going to talk about the random golf club event now.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, so yesterday, actually, I'm gonna define my terms real quick. So a scramble in the golf world is a way of playing golf with a group of people. So, say me, Austin, and Myers are having a scramble. We would all hit our drive. Whoever hit the best drive, that is the next shot that all three of us would hit from. So then you do the same thing with your iron in, your putt, or like whatever. And so by the end of the day, like we would have like a group score of all of our best shots combined. If that explanation didn't make sense, I don't really know if I could do anything to help you. You just have to watch golf, and it would make more sense. But anyways, there's this guy named Eric Anders Lang that is a YouTube person, I guess. Before that, he was a music video director in L.A., and he famously was married to Sia at one point in his life. But anyways, in 2020, like a lot of L.A. people did, he left L.A. and moved to Austin, Texas. And he kind of like fell in love with retreating and doing like the mindfulness exercise, which is golf. So he goes out and he falls in love with it, and he starts like making a YouTube channel talking about it, and starts this company called Random Golf Club. Now it's like their tagline is a global community of local golfers. So they have all these chapters and groups, whatever. I think what he's doing with golf is one of the coolest things ever. He's like trying to get rid of the polo and bring in the people. And I think that's super cool. So me and my buddies are really behind what he's doing. Anyways, the last year, he's like trying to figure out what to do about bringing these events like all over the place. And he starts what's called the Mad Scramble, where like 50 to 100 people come out and play a Mad Scramble. So 50 people hit their drive, and then whoever has the longest drive, you hit from there. And then 50 people hit an iron in, and then like you play what's called a Mad Scramble, where 50 people play a scramble together the whole time. And it's this insane idea. And I'm going to be so honest. Before I went, I was like, this is going to be a terrible, like golf-wise, this is going to be kind of a terrible vibe. And I feel like it kind of was like a cash grab. Like I was like,
How long does it take per hit?
It took surprisingly less long than I thought it would, because they have it systemized really well now. But it definitely wasn't like, we played 9 holes and we started at 3 and we ended at like 7:15. So it took like 4 hours. It took as long as it would take to play a whole round of golf. But we only played a half a round of golf. So anyways, we went out there, and I thought, like I said, I thought it was going to be like this kind of cash grab type thing. I spent $55 on my ticket. But the thing is, to play 18 holes at Purcell Farms, which is where this is, it costs $250. So the fact that you get to you get to hit shots for 9 straight holes, for $55. I was like, this is already kind of a bargain. And then I show up. I didn't have to buy a T-shirt. I didn't have to buy a hat. But because I showed up and I paid for it, I was given Ping had sponsored the thing. So Ping had 5 hats that I could pick from. Got a bucket hat. And then they gave me a T-shirt and a poster.
Nice.
So, like, I was given all this stuff for $55. And then they had lab putters, which are these $800 super nice putters that you could, like, putt with. And then also you could take it in your bag and, like, putt with it the whole round if you wanted to. They also had these brand new Ping clubs that you could, like, go test on the driving range or, like, hit, like, the wedges or whatever. And then you could also play with them the whole round if you wanted to. They had, like, all of this, like, installation stuff. So it really is fascinating how I think it's, like, weird because Random Golf Club is a golf company. They don't make golf clubs, but they make golf clothes. But, like, it seems like a Ping is paying them to go do this thing. So it's almost like this middle market that's, like, so random because Random Golf Club has, like, 1 million subscribers and a huge, like, YouTube presence, and Ping just, like, doesn't. So Ping's, like, doing it vicariously, like, through them, I guess, if that makes any sense. So I thought it was super interesting. So I showed up and I was like, oh, wait, this is, like, genuinely just for publicity and, like, just for fun. Like, this isn't, they weren't, like, trying to make, like, there's 40 people that showed up. It's $55. They made $2,200 off the event. So obviously the revenue stream to send a team of 4 guys from Austin all over, like, all the way to Birmingham, get an Airbnb, all the things. They have to be making money from somewhere else. So
Yeah, Ping is definitely.
yeah. So anyways, super interesting whenever I was, like, there, and I was like, wait, this is actually kind of sick. We, like, hit the driving range for, like, an hour or so, and then we started. And, dude, they have a golf cart. They have this South African guy named Charles that runs it. And Charles and this other guy named Tyler and this other guy named Maxime were the 3 guys running it. And they were, like, the coolest dudes ever. Like, genuinely. It would be like if the 3 of us got to go on tour and host, like, a golf tournament. Like, genuinely. Like, they were just hanging out. They were chatting with everybody. Like, I got to know all of them. They, like, also gave me their phone numbers, which I thought was crazy. Like, it wasn't like a celebrity complex, even though these guys are technically YouTubers. So anyways.
So we're going to Austin to film podcasts with them?
Oh, dude, that would actually be sick if they wanted to be on the pod whenever we went to Austin, yeah. Tyler specifically was like, dude, if you're ever in Austin, let me know. We got to hang. We got to go play Butler. I was like, facts. Butler's a par 3 course in Austin. That's sick. But anyways, it was so cool. What I'm trying to say is that whenever I was out there, I went from this is kind of a lazy cash grab, this is going to be miserable, to I fully understand why they do it. Like, it was the coolest thing. There's 40 dudes from all over the South who drove to come do this event. And I got to know, genuinely, I, like, met 30 of them and had conversations with, like, 15 of them. Like, it was such a cool thing getting to meet all of them. And in general, like, that, like, the vibe of a golf company that it is just brought in people that were just, in general, just super easy to talk to and, like, really happy and fun people. So that was really cool.
Yeah.
And they have they're sponsored by, like, all this stuff. So there's this cigar company who sent them, I think it's like they sent them 10,000 cigars to smoke on this, like, 4-week tour.
It's crazy.
And so they had this cooler full of cigars for anybody who wanted to smoke them. They could smoke them. And then they had a lab putter they gave away to someone who made, like, the longest putt. And then they had a they had free wedges they gave to this kid. They literally were just like, that we got to this one hole and they were like, hey, who's been playing golf the least amount of time? And this kid named, I forgot his name, but he had been playing golf for 2 months. And they're like, dude, what you didn't know was today you were going to get a free set of wedges. So they literally gave him, like, this wedge set that was worth, like, $400. Just gave it to him just because he had been playing. So they have a bunch of free stuff. It was, like, really cool. They're sponsored by Turtle Box, which is like a outdoor speaker that's, like, invincible, waterproof, floats, all this stuff. It's the loudest outdoor speaker I may have ever heard. They just, like, were playing the best music. I don't know. I thought it was, like, the coolest. Golf is kind of really hard to make cool. I'll be so honest. But that event right there, literally anyone could have gone to it and been like, this is a good time.
Yeah.
Which was so, so cool. And we also Like me and this group of like, there's probably 9 of us there that like knew each other that came from Birmingham, and we were like, all right, we got to get as many shots in as possible. And there was only, because we shot 11 or 12 under on 36, so there was only 24 shots the whole round. Like, so we shot a 24 on 9 holes, and our group got 8 of them. So we got a third of the shots were like so.
How many of yours did they use?
0 of mine. No shot, dude. I was like,
did Whit play well?
Whit did not play well, which was super fascinating.
No.
Whit is like probably the best golfer in our group, and I think he didn't get a single shot. But this one guy named Coleman, who looks honestly just like you. I met him. You need to meet him. He's freaking cool. He's a ER doctor at Grandview, but he's from like Louisiana. Went to UAB for med school or something like that. And he was dressed like freaking. He was dressed cool. Like he wasn't dressed. Like, I don't know. I feel like a doctor is like doctors kind of sacrifice taste because they like their life is so hard in med school. They just kind of sacrifice it all. They're like, well, I'm just trying to get out of here alive pretty much at this point. And anyways, he was like such a cool dude. And he went out there and he hit a drive that was like unreal on this par 4. No. We drove the green on a par 4. That's what it was.
Oh.
He drove the green on a par 4, and then he made like this 25-foot putt. He like literally he hit the drive, so he got to putt first.
Wow.
And then he made this like 25-foot putt to get it like a solo eagle on the second
That's
hole.
wild.
And literally all of us were like freaked out.
Who is this guy?
Yeah, we were like, what? Come on.
Austin, if you were famous for something, what would you want to be famous for?
Oh, man. I don't know.
You don't want to be famous?
I kind of want to just, I think the way I want to be famous is if it was like, I had like one line in some random movie, and it like was totally brushed over when the movie actually came out, and then like 10 or 15 years later, it becomes like, it resurfaces as this really funny clip.
Yeah.
I think that's about
You want to be a meme?
Yeah, I want to be a 2-week meme 10 years after it happened. That's the extent of famousness I would want.
That's funny. I was trying to think about like if I did a tour of something like that. I don't know what I would want to do.
You don't think I could do a tour with that thing that
You could do a tour with a meme for sure, where you just like say the line. You say the thing. Say the thing. There was a funny clip of Jerry Seinfeld that went viral maybe a month ago, and it was this girl getting his signature, and she was like, will you say it? And then he was like, do you like jazz? And then it went really viral.
That's so
I was at Sozo today, and I should have bought it. I might go back and buy it. It is a Jerry Seinfeld Halloween kids book.
No way.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It was like a characterized picture of him, and it was like Jerry Seinfeld's special Halloween, and it's got like, he's like holding the book, and it was.
That's so funny.
I was like, this was not something I would have ever thought existed.
Yeah.
But it was.
I wonder if he like gets royalties from stuff like that, or if people just knock off his brand.
Well, I think that was like, I bet you he wrote that book.
Yeah.
fair.
And it looked like, I don't know how old it was, but it was hilarious. Dang, I really wish I looked. I think I remember looking at it and being like, $20? Is it worth $20 for a meme?
$20,
like,
yeah.
I could just tell people I saw it, and that's what I just did.
If you could meet, and if you owned it, it would also be just to tell people that you have that.
It's honestly, yeah.
What's the difference?
Exactly. I'm not reading. I don't know if I'd read my kids the Kids Come Hither. Listen to the yearly reading of Jerry Seinfeld
the yearly Halloween tradition.
Get into the season.
If you could meet a famous person, who would you want to meet?
This question's always interesting to me because I actually don't think I'd want to meet anybody other than like church historical figures.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any other famous person that I'd actually want to meet that I really like because I'm afraid or feel confident they would not meet my personal expectations maybe.
Yeah.
Or to their defense, not. I guess what's the context? Is it like this is this is like I run into him, or is it like this person knows that we're gonna have like an organized lunch?
Yeah, I would say like a lunch or a dinner with somebody.
Because like
anybody.
I grew up in Akron, and I'm a huge LeBron fan, and I have friends that worked at Chick-fil-A, and he would always come through the drive-thru, and I had friends, or one of my brother's closest friends was like really close with Bronny growing up or whatever. So like there's like Akron's not a huge town, so it's not like people would see him. And so I saw him from like afar, like one time when I was like a little kid, long before, it was like 2007 or something. But not that I remember the year and the date or anything, but but like I always remember thinking with him, I was like, if I ran into him on the street, I think I probably wouldn't even want to say anything.
Yeah,
because it's like he's uber famous, so he gets annoying people that come up to him and are in their face all the time about, hey, I want to meet you, or whatever, and then he probably just brushes them off. Like that would, like as a kid, that would have killed me if I would have run into him and be like, oh my gosh, LeBron, and then he would have like pushed, like that would be.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
As a kid, if that happened now, if I saw him now, I probably still wouldn't even say anything. So that's why I asked, because for a lot of the people that I really enjoy, I wouldn't want to run into in that context. Or if I did, I wouldn't say anything.
Yeah.
If it were like an organized lunch, I don't know.
What if in this situation, this person like really wanted to talk to you, like really wanted to be there? Do you think it would be a LeBron?
Yeah, I guess maybe. I see there being zero scenario where LeBron would ever really want to talk to me. And that's not a bad thing, but it's like, like I don't see it. And again, that doesn't bother me.
Okay, if you were to catch the wife of a famous basketball player who, if you wouldn't have caught her, she would have fallen to her death, and then that famous basketball player would be like, oh my gosh, I love you. You're my favorite person on earth. We have to be best friends now because I owe my life, my wife's life to you.
Yeah, it'd be like
LeBron.
Like, if LeBron wanted to spend time with me, for sure be him. But I also recognize he is so like dad cringe that it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Like the compilations of him lying are hilarious. I don't know if you guys have watched the new there's the quarterback and the wide receiver show. Like Lucy loves those shows, which is awesome. So we love watching those. And so we haven't watched the NBA one, but it just came out. And we only got to watch like the first 10 minutes. And the first 10 minutes, it's Halloween night, and LeBron's getting ready. He's been dressing up as Beetlejuice, and he's like, Halloween's my favorite holiday. And then they're videoing him, and he's like quoting this Beetlejuice monologue while he's saying it in the movie. And in my head, I'm like, the subtitles are for sure on. Like this dude is like, he doesn't know this, and I would not give him credit for knowing this because of the history of him lying about like random stuff. It's So anyways, all I have to say, I recognize that he's a cringe dad, but
that's actually super. I've never thought about asking that question that way. Mars, if it were you, if that person like wanted to be with you, like because the same
I think
scenario.
That's a big part of it.
Yeah.
Like if you were to catch the wife or the husband of a famous figure, and they were so excited to like become friends with you, to thank you and like get to know you and stuff, would it still be Jordan Peterson for you?
To me, it'd be kind of between him and Seinfeld, probably.
Yeah.
Those are like two men that I admire for different reasons, but the most.
That prompt might not even apply to Seinfeld because of how much Seinfeld's in that brain. Or at least how I perceive him. Seinfeld would want nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
Which I still think is hilarious.
Yeah. I feel like if I could actually get into like deep intellectual talk with him, then he might actually enjoy it. Because he is like pretty intellectual. Yeah. But he is so famous and has been for like 30 years that it's like so he's just fully an A-list celebrity famous guy.
I think those kinds of people have very little idea on how to interact with people like us too.
Yeah.
Where it's like I always think for LeBron, it's like he's been, and Seinfeld's been similar, where it's like LeBron's been the most, like, to his perspective and to most people around him, he's been the most important person in the room since he was like 14 years old. And it's like, so yeah, he lies about a bunch of stuff because because he's kind of like the alpha in the room and nobody wants to tell him that he's lying. So he just feels like he might not even notice that he's doing it or whatever. But like, I just think people who are that famous and are that famous for that long,
I think
perception of
I think someone I could reasonably become friends with who is famous, and this is like relatively realistic, is Dayglow, because he's definitely just like he would fit into our friend group perfectly, I think.
Yeah.
And if our podcast was like, if we were really trying to reach for the stars and get guests, there's a way that we could end up with him on here at some point, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know if we ever will kind of go down that path or not, but
I was actually thinking about this last night because this is actually super random. Back to the random golf club thing. These three guys, Maxime, Tyler, and Charles, the guys that were running the event, like they asked us, they were like, hey guys, like we're getting beers and burgers at the golf course pub afterwards. If anybody wants to stay and hang, like please join. And me and Cole and Dave were getting in the car to leave. And like we thought about sticking around and hanging out with them. And then we were like, do we want to hang out with them because they work for Random Golf Club and like that's cool? Or do we want to hang out with them because, you know, like we actually don't want to, you know, because we wanted to get home. We were all tired. We were hungry. You know, we'd been golfing for 4.5 straight hours. Like we left at like 11 a.m. that morning. I worked that. Oh, dude, I got to talk about the daylight burrito thing too. I did that yesterday too. But no, it was just like one of those moments where I was like, do I want to do this for the clout or do I want to do this because I actually want to do it? And we were like, yeah, I just don't think. I think we literally stood there and had that conversation. We were like, I don't know if our motives are good for this, you know? And I feel like that's the opposite end of it too, where like, do you want to be friends? Like, this is such a freaking hyperbolic example, but like, do you want to be friends with LeBron because he's good at basketball? Because like, there's other guys in Birmingham that are good at basketball, but like that doesn't affect how much you want to be their friend at all. You know what I mean?
I want to be friends with him because he was like such a core like figure in my childhood, because like I was born in 99. My dad went to St. V for 1 year or 2 years or whatever. So we had neighbors that were a little older and they went to a rival Catholic school and they played against LeBron in high school. And so it was like everybody in the area knew of LeBron and were excited, like we're super excited about him like years before he actually got drafted. So I was born in 99. LeBron was drafted in either 02 or 03. I'm pretty sure 03. And so I'm 4 years old. And then until I turn like 12, like he's playing for Cleveland sports the whole time. And so like 4 to 12, like if for sports fans, like that's kind of the peak.
Formative years.
Yeah, formative, or like not peak, but just that's like when it really matters to you as like it totally affects your mood. It definitely does. I mean, there's plenty of people who did that for them long after, but like when you're a kid, it's like you're gonna start crying if your team hasn't even lost yet, you know? Like, so like for him, like for those 8 years, and then he left. He was gone for 4 years, and then he won a championship when I was I was fall of like my senior year of high school. And so like all of that was just it was so ingrained in like where my mind was, because I grew up playing basketball, I love playing basketball, and Cleveland has its history of being awful at sports, and then all of a sudden we have the best, in my opinion, but to the most basketball fans, one of the 3 best players of all time in the sport, born like in the city that I grew up while I was like all of that, like it was like
powerful.
It's literally it's like imagine like talking to some 50-year-old person that grew up in Chicago. Like it's the same feeling for them with Jordan, or it's like so to me that's why, it's because he was such like a peak.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And the basketball part of it doesn't. I mean, he was peak because of basketball, but like I wouldn't want to get to know him because of basketball or whatever.
You would
Just
want to
like-
get to know him to talk to him about, oh my gosh, Cleveland
Yeah.
and me and how insane that is.
Yeah.
And blah,
yeah.
blah, blah.
And the one thing I was thinking,
Do you think after you told him all of that, he would just be like, I guess he would be like, yeah, dude, that was crazy whenever this happened and that happened, you know?
Yeah, because I remember like
I feel like one thing I've talked to about professional athletes is like in friendships, and granted, I have 2 friends who have interacted with professional sports, and they really hate how much sports are part of their life. So they kind of resort to like childhood best friendships, and I feel like a lot of NBA. Didn't LeBron know that girl like forever, like his wife? Didn't he know her like from when she?
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of
It's
players
like
that
in
are
high
like
school.
that are his level marry people and stay married to people they met when they were like 8 years old. Sometimes,
Yeah, like Leo Messi.
yeah. Lionel
He's been
Messi's
married
met
to
that girl
that same
forever.
girl for-
Same with Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Granted, they're Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo's wives look very different now than they did whenever they first started dating.
Yeah.
But
I don't know what that means.
they surgically
Okay.
they pay for their
Okay.
wives to do whatever surgery they want. It's kind of crazy. But anyways, I think it's super interesting how they're like what LeBron wants in a friendship or what Jerry Seinfeld wants in a friendship is maybe like a taste back to like when like before their lives were. Because like I feel
Yeah.
like that's why
Or-
him and Larry
Yeah,
David are
well,
such
I
good
mean, when
friends.
you're
It's just-
famous,
they were on SNL
There,
together.
there is that element of people want to be friends with you just for the
Because-
clout.
Yeah.
So then, like,
Or
I
like-
have this complex in my brain where it's like, well, I could be friends with them without wanting the clout, which is probably not true because once I was in the room with them, it probably is like tangible, you know.
Yeah.
But
It's
like,
probably hard for them to make new friends that aren't famous.
Yeah.
Then know that they're
that's
not
what I was getting
wanting-
at. I was like, how do you even make friends?
Yeah.
Because how do you know if someone has pure intentions?
Yeah, and at the end of the day, I think one of the hardest parts about the friendship would be the fact that, like, say it's Jerry Seinfeld for me, he doesn't want to know anything about me.
Yeah.
You
He's
know?
also
I'm
like
I'm just laughing because it's like
It's obviously
man,
such a
LeBron and
stupid
I's
example.
friendship would be hard for I don't know.
it'd
how
be
much-
so. I mean, the age difference, really.
yeah. Like here's the reason why.
It would. What I'm trying to say is,
No,
I feel
I
like
know.
it'd be super awkward for them.
Yeah.
Because we would just be like, "You changed my life because you're amazing." And
Yeah,
I
it's like,
love
I
you."
would
And
probably-
they
I
just
would-
be like,
Yep. Exactly.
I would
Thanks,
probably
man.
be better at being friends with like Chris Pratt or like some other random famous person who I have like no ties to or care about at all.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I would equally just treat them like a normal person,
Yeah.
as opposed to someone that I actually admire and think a lot of.
Yeah.
Where I would have that element of like
Yeah.
starstruckness or whatever it is.
or like my there's a guy named Trey Mullinax. I went to high school with him. He's on the PGA Tour. I have no freaking clue what he's been doing on the PGA Tour. I just know that that's what he does for his work.
Yeah.
So if I were to talk to him, I feel like in a weird way, he would be refreshed to know like, oh, I know that. Well, granted, now I'm just doing the hometown thing. Dadgummit. Yeah, the same idea I just said 5 minutes ago. I have.
But the context of this whole thing was if that person really wanted to be friends with you because
Sure.
you
Yeah.
saved their wife.
yeah.
But to that point, then like what you guys are saying is like, yeah, you're right. They wouldn't want to be friends with us because they don't. There's nothing about us that would be interesting really to them.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Yeah. Unless
but
there was
it's
some
true.
weird
But-
connection. Yeah.
Exactly. Unless there was a weird connection. So that's like the whole context of the question, I think.
Isn't that funny how the only way that you could actually become friends with someone is if they become just like and people have to essentially become boring to you in order for you to have a relationship with them.
Do y'all have any friends who are like semi-famous?
I mean, if I saw Trey Mullinax, I would say hey to him.
Yeah.
John Hurst is my buddy. He won a Super Bowl for the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
He was on the reserve team, but like in terms of fame, I don't think that either of those equivalent with fame necessarily.
Yeah.
I think it does give him status, but like, will you help me define fame?
I don't know. Just like
Like,
a lot of
100K
people.
Instagram followers.
Yeah, a lot of people know who they are.
I was on a relay team with a guy who's like the second wide receiver for the Raiders. He's a popular fantasy football pickup right now.
Really? Who is
Yeah.
it?
Trey Tucker.
Was that in high school then?
Yeah, he was
not
2 years.
Stanford, right?
Yeah. No, he was 2 years older than me, but we were on track relays together.
Dang, where did he play college at?
Cincinnati.
Go Bearcats, baby.
He dropped it wasn't a great pass in his defense, but he dropped a touchdown catch against Bama in the playoff.
Against
that if he would have in the playoff, but if he would have caught it, they would have been down by like 4 with like 8 minutes left. So
I remember
that was actually kind of a closer game than people give credit for.
Yeah,
Not that it matters.
Yeah, not that it matters, but like Cincinnati's
but,
pretty
like-
good back in
But
2018
like they're down
football.
by 11, and the right tackle missed a block on 3rd and 7. No, this isn't.
If you would have
famous.
juked left instead of juked right.
This isn't necessarily this kind of answers the question, but not really. But I always tell people because it's just kind of crazy. And it's super far removed, so just hang with me. But my brother's ex-girlfriend's friend mom.
Okay.
Again, I know it's far removed. She went to her senior prom with Jeffrey Dahmer.
Whoa.
That's crazy.
And I'm fairly confident that as the story goes, after Jeffrey Dahmer's senior prom was when he killed his first victim.
Whoa.
So she has like a Polaroid picture with him, and my brother saw it when he was still dating this girl, and for some reason at her friend's house and talking to her mom. I don't know. It was like
That's
I know that's super
weird.
far removed, but that's like she has a Polaroid of
Yeah.
her and Dahmer at prom, and then like 5 hours later he like
Killed the
somebody.
first person.
That's freaky.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah,
Because in Akron I grew up pretty close to like
Yeah.
Revere, which is where he grew up. So
is Jeffrey Dahmer the
people eater.
people eater?
They made that show about him.
Mhm.
I couldn't get through the show.
No,
I got like
didn't
3
watch it.
episojust in, and there was like a head in the
That's
freezer.
freaking
and I
Yeah.
just
crazy.
I couldn't get past that.
The one Dahmer movie with
The movie,
Austin Moon.
Yeah.
What's it?
yeah.
That's the Disney show character name.
Have-
But I forget his name. Anyways,
Have either of y'all watched the Confessions Booth Channel 5 thing yet?
No.
no.
Okay,
I don't know
so-
what that is.
This guy named Andrew Callahan, that is probably one of the most fascinating people alive right now. He's a critical journalist, and he puts out documentaries that are like anywhere from like 15 minutes to an hour and 30 minutes long on YouTube, completely for free, which is crazy. And well, I guess he makes ad dollars. You know what I mean? Like completely for free, he posts them. And like this past experiment he did was, I guess wherever he's from, Toronto or Vancouver or something like that. I know he's from Canada. He sets up a booth that on the booth it says like, you are being recorded. This will be posted on the internet, but like confess whatever you want. Like, and it's set up like a Catholic confession booth. Yes. And from what I've heard, I haven't watched it yet, but my friend watched it and he said that there was 5 murder confessions.
Holy cow.
And then there was one guy who said, yeah, one time I killed my cat for no reason other than I just like wanted to.
That's psycho.
Like that's crazy. Like people like confessed crazy stuff in the booth, and even though they knew, they just like
But again, their face wasn't shown, right? They were just
no, their face was completely shown. Like they were being filmed and recorded.
Imagine
They
what
knew
you
it
would
was-
get if you would cover their face.
Yeah. Maybe that's what it was. Because I was like, dude,
I
if
would
you
not- I
say
would-
that about murder, you're gonna go
You
to
can
jail.
go to jail.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
look-
that's
I'm gonna look
crazy.
this up.
That's insane. Holy cow. That guy's really cool. He's kind of a part of the new breed of like, the traditional media is not really real journalism anymore.
Yeah.
A lot of them are kind of bought and paid for by politicians from either side of the aisle. And so he's a part of this new breed of journalists who are like actually pretty objective and just focus on one or another topic at a time. And so he'll like go to, like, I think he went to the Gaza Strip like right after October 7th or something crazy like that. Like he goes down and gets gets his feet dirty in the locations where the things happen.
That's crazy.
It's pretty wild. He's
Okay.
really, really interesting.
It's in LA, and apparently it goes live on TikTok, is what I'm seeing. Yeah. And sometimes the faces are blurred and sometimes they're not on these videos that I'm seeing. That's freaking crazy.
Wild.
TikTok.
Steven,
anything
Steven,
on
you said
TikTok
your
nowadays.
person was Seinfeld.
No, I was just like trying to.
Who would your famous person who wants to actually hang out with you be?
I wonder if it would change at all. I genuinely think that I would. But the thing is, one thing that. It's also like weird to say that this is like fame. I don't know. For the sake of this argument, I don't think that John Mark Comer is famous. But I do think that he's like, because he does make himself very like known. I don't know. I also like could work for him one day. So like, but I think I would really enjoy working with him, and I do think he would really enjoy working with me. I'm gonna leave that one there. Let's go to like famous people who are famous for being like entertainers. I think that like I want to say Kevin De Bruyne for Manchester City. I don't think that he would care about seeing or talking to me at all. I just don't see it.
Yeah.
LeBron, however, would care about hanging out with Austin Eck.
Yeah.
If I saw LeBron on the street in Birmingham, I want to clarify, I would definitely say something. But if I were in Akron and I saw him, I wouldn't say anything.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, like one time whenever I was
Just
at
need the-
a Birmingham.
Well, if you're in
Yeah, the public-
Birmingham, you
just need
can
the public to know
say,
that.
I'm from Akron.
Yeah, exactly.
And then that
And then
gives you
it's-
the in.
Exactly. It's cooler than saying I'm from Akron and Akron.
Right.
My answer used to be Zach Steffen, who was the goalkeeper for the United States of America, and he was the goalkeeper. He was the backup goalkeeper for Manchester City. He was my favorite team in England, and I was at a Birmingham Legion game. And one thing that y'all don't know about Zach Steffen that you're about to know is that he played soccer at the University of Maryland, and whenever he was there, a guy named Alex Crognall was his center back who played on the same team as him, and Alex Crognall is now the center back at the Birmingham Legion, which is our minor league soccer team. So anyways, him and Alex have a non-profit together. So Zach Steffen was in Birmingham. I had no idea, but I showed up to this game, and Zach Steffen, like somebody was like, yo, dude, Zach Steffen's here. And I was like, shut the heck up. I thought they were messing with me because they knew this was the answer to my famous person question.
Yeah.
And then I was like, shut the heck up. And they were like, no, for real, like he's right there. And I turned up and looked up in the box, and he was just sitting up there.
That's crazy.
And I was like, you're joking me right now. And I went up to him, and I was like, I was like working for the Legion, so I guess I had some sort of like wherewithal to like, or I had some sort of like status to be able to speak to him, even though he's like a famous guest at the game.
Yeah.
Because I had a credential. And I went up to him, and I was just like, yo, dude, like I grew up playing goalkeeper. Like I modeled so much of my game off of you. Like you've been such an inspiration to me to see, like, because he went to Europe and failed, and then he came back to America, and then he went back to Europe and then succeeded, and now he's failed, and now he's back in America. But anyways, I think I was at the time he was back in Europe playing for the best club in the world, and I was like, dude, you're like been such an inspiration to me. Like I'm also a Man City fan, so like I've loved seeing you over there, yada yada yada. And he's like, no way, and he like actually chatted to me for a little bit because he's like from Columbus. Played at Maryland, just like super normal guy.
Yeah, but I feel like those are the kinds of people that if you can recite some of, like if you can tell them like, hey, I know what you've done, then it's more important to them.
Yeah.
Because they're either recognized because like, oh, I knew you from that team that one time I recognized you in this one game I saw, or probably not even famous enough to usually get walked up to.
Yeah.
So if you can say all that, that's like, to them, I think the semi-famous people probably love getting picked out.
Yeah.
Because they probably don't often do. And if you can say, like,
yeah,
I loved you in X,
I
Y, Z.
I actually am one of your fans.
Yeah. As opposed to just being like, I was a fan of the team that you played on for 2 years, and so I know you were there.
There was a
and
line
I didn't
of
know anything
people.
about you.
There was a line of people in front of me, to your point, that would just go up to him and wouldn't say anything.
Yeah.
They would just take their phone out and just be like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that was it. And like,
Yeah, you do
they
have
were
to kind
only
of have
taking-
something to say, I think.
Yeah, I think they were only taking photos with him because he was, famous. Like it wasn't.
I think,
because they knew anything about him.
Another person I thought of that I would potentially pick, even though I've already said like 4 people, is Chris Harris.
I don't know who that
He
is.
would be most well known because he was on Top Gear. He was one of the presenters for Top Gear in the last like 5 years or
That's
however
the
long. it
car
ran.
show, right?
Yeah. But I've
It's
been
Cars, right?
Yeah, Cars. Yeah, it's Cars.
It's Cars.
Lightning
He
McQueen.
is
I'd probably
yes,
say Lightning McQueen.
race car man. No, he's been my favorite car journalist for like my whole life, and he used to just be a YouTuber and roughing it, and then he was on Top Gear. Anyway,
That's sick.
I think if I
would
found
do Whistling Diesel actually.
Yeah,
Think about it.
that
I
would
would
be
go
so
hang out
funny.
with Whistling Diesel.
there is like kind of a world where if I got super involved in car culture on a global scale, I could actually meet Chris Harris too.
Yeah, hope
whether or
to
not
be
he
on
would,
that
whether or not he would want to talk to me, I don't know. He's like 50, but
Man, what do I gotta do to get famous people to want to talk to me?
yeah. Save their wives.
Hey, when's the last time?
I wonder
Hey,
what
is
it's
your
like-
wife okay right now? I might go save her.
Do you care to learn more about XLOOKUP in Excel?
What do y'all think? Like, not like when do you think it happened? Because I'm thinking about TikTok people now who like go and they like talk to other famous people, even though like they're not actually famous.
Yeah.
But also like Charlie D'Amelio is genuinely famous now.
Yeah.
Or Dixie D'Amelio, or like I forgot the
Their
other girl's
reality
name.
show or something.
Yeah, like I wonder what happened for them where they knew like, oh wow, like I'm actually like super famous now. Like it's not just like I wonder when that flip switched for them.
That's probably like the number of times they got stopped in public.
Yeah.
At some
where they're
point
like,
it
I
reached
can't go
so
outside
many.
anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Mr. Beast is probably technically the most famous person alive.
Yeah.
Between him and like Donald Trump or something like that.
Yeah. Or freaking
Like Mr. Beast,
I don't know.
Mr. Beast globally
Justin Bieber.
could go anywhere and be recognized and probably have like I've just heard him tell stories of I was in this random country and people found out I was here, and then I was in the Walmart getting something and came out and there was a line down the street of people wanting to like take a picture with me, you know.
I actually have a crazy relevant story about this. Okay, so Emily Mora. Have I ever talked about Emily Mora and Aspen and the Biebers?
I don't think so.
Okay. So Emily Mora is this girl that she went to Auburn, but she was friends with like my group of friends whenever I was in college. And because she worked in Montana with two of them. Anyways, Emily lives like somewhere in Colorado in the mountains, but she works in Aspen. And she is like obsessed with, it's either Hailey Bieber or Kendall Jenner, one or the other. I can't remember. But anyways, they're vacationing. The Kardashians are, and Justin Bieber and Hailey Bieber are also there. And this is actually what happened. Hailey Bieber and Kendall Jenner are best friends.
Okay.
And Hailey Bieber is what she's obsessed with. I'm remembering the story now. Okay, so anyways, she works in Aspen. She realizes, or she hears that the Biebers or the Kardashians and the Biebers are there vacationing for Christmas. And then she goes to a coffee shop that she's like, they've supposedly been like going to the whole entire time that they've been there. And she's just like, all right, walks in. The only seat left in the place is at a table. Oh, wait. Maybe she was sitting there first. That makes more sense. I think she was sitting there first. I feel like this kind of drastically changes the story either way. But anyway, she was sitting there first. She sat down. The only two seats left I guess 3 seats left were like kind of a community table. I guess in this scenario, with the way they explained it to me, there were 6 seats at like a table, like a community table. She sits on like the far right one on one side, and then so there's like 5 seats open at the table now, and then Justin Bieber and his like homie come in, and they walk in, get their coffee, and they're like, "Hey, do you care if we sit down right here?" They sit at the community table like with her while she's like headphones on, working on her, and then
That would be unreal.
That's crazy.
I can't remember what happens, but Kendall Jenner ended up at the table too.
Yeah.
They both were there.
So Kendall Jenner, Justin Bieber, and then Justin Bieber's friend, and then maybe it was like
And probably
no, 'cause she
also
opened up
Justin
the
Bieber's
door.
friend is like, I don't know,
Yeah,
DeMarco or something,
It's
someone famous.
it's some guy that he is famous because he's Justin Bieber's
Okay.
best friend. So
Okay.
like I forgot what his name is, but they were explaining it to me. Maybe it was Justin Bieber, Hailey Bieber, and the friend were sitting there. I think that's what it was. And then whenever she left, she opened the door. And then she did one of those like awkward things where you open a door, you walk out, and then there's like someone trying to walk in or whatever. And it was Kendall Jenner that was trying to walk in. That's what it was. I thought that was Hailey Bieber, but that was Kendall Jenner. So I guess she was like sitting there, but apparently she just like sat there, like headphones completely off, but like in her ears, acted like she was working the whole time, but just like listened to them the whole time.
Yeah. There's no way I'd be able to focus.
She said that they were just talking about like normal crap that anybody would. Like,
Yeah.
not like, I feel like there's like the only thing I know how to explain it is like the only way that they knew how to explain it was gossip, but it's not like they weren't like talking crap about people. It was just like they were talking about how different people in their lives are interacting with one another, and they talked about like spiritual stuff too, and it sounded like a conversation that was very similar to any of the ones that we have. But it's crazy because she literally like her idol is either Kendall or Hailey Bieber or something like that, but she interacted with her, and instead of like lightening up, she just like terrified, and it came to her in the moment. Like she didn't have to go. I mean, I guess she went to the coffee shop because she knew that they were going there, but they literally sat at the same table. I would
That's crazy.
I would not know what to do if I was sitting at a table and Justin Bieber sat beside me.
I think I would have tried to be ironic. I would have been like,
"Hey, what's good here?"
I don't know. I would have been like,
I feel like there's nothing you could say where he would just at all be like that. That would be the first time that he heard like a fan.
I feel like I could come up with something. I feel like I could come up with something.
What I would really want to do, if I were in a situation that I knew that there's a good chance I do run into a very specific famous person like this, I would want to be super prepared to say you're that guy from, and then enter the blank of like a super obscure thing that they did like way on the side. That's not actually why they're famous at all.
Yeah.
So like, oh my god.
Oh, you're that guy.
You were that feature on. You were the feature on Jaden Smith.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Or like you know how Curb, they always have these. Like Curb, he'll always have famous people on as a main character in an episode, and then there'll also be famous people as like extras that get like one line. It was like, crap, who was
I
it?
feel like for Kendall, for example, for Kendall Jenner, it would be like, oh, you're that girl who was on Emma Chamberlain's podcast because she like did that.
But like, I mean, like, oh
Yeah,
man,
you were
I'm
like
trying to think of a good
super
example of it.
boring.
Yeah. Hey, you've done. Yeah, you probably shouldn't do the podcast thing. You're probably better at some other stuff.
One thing about Kendall Jenner that I've realized as Gracie and I have continued to watch the Kardashians is Kendall Jenner genuinely believes in like chakras, and energy. It's very fascinating. She doesn't like when people say negative things because it enters the universe.
That's interesting.
Which I get the metaphorical thing, but she, in a very quite literal sense, like is like, don't say that it's in the universe. Yeah. But I'm like, you shouldn't say,
Voldemort,
oh my gosh,
Voldemort,
I hate
Voldemort,
my mom.
Voldemort.
Yeah, you shouldn't be like Voldemort because you know you don't want people to think about Voldemort, and maybe you need the artistic metaphorical way of being like, don't let that enter the universe. But I think she genuinely thinks that when things enter, I can't believe we're talking about this right now. Anyways, guys, thanks so much for listening today. This has been so awesome. Austin, your front porch has been absolutely lovely on this fall, autumn afternoon. It's crazy, guys, that I learned this yesterday because I was counting down the days till I graduate seminary, which is on December 13th. And shortly thereafter, me and Myers will be having our first long road trip podcast at a secret, discreet location that we'll definitely continue to talk about.
If we can convince our wives to let us do that.
Dude, we got it. Yeah. But anyways, our wives will also be there. But anyways, I graduate seminary on December 13th. That is 45 days from yesterday, I think, which is crazy. I don't know how many days it'll be from next Friday when this actually comes out, but it's crazy to me that it will be December 13th. It will be prime like Christmas in 45 days.
Yeah.
But it's 85 and we're sitting on your front porch and you're wearing shorts. Like, wild.
Yeah, I am ready for it to be a little cooler. We had a couple days where it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But it is.
We had one morning where we ran and it was like 40 degrees.
That was awesome. We were like kind of numb for a little bit.
Yeah.
Austin, do you run at all anymore?
I did like a 11-mile trail run thing that I trained for
sick,
like a month or two.
I couldn't remember if you actually did that.
Yeah, I was super behind. It was supposed to be double, but I did the half instead of the full. So I only did 11 instead of 22 or whatever. But I haven't run. I did that like a week before we moved here, so probably 2 months ago, and then I have not run since.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not much of a runner.
Yeah, well,
not anymore.
We're running we're running a full marathon in Gulf Shores in February.
Whoa.
So if you want to train and join, please come with.
Yeah, I think from that trail run, I decided that is she taking that out? Oh, she putting it in. I thought she got bad and was
No way.
What is happening?
No way. She just tore out a Harris
tore out a
Walls
Kamala.
sign.
She tore out a Kamala sign, kicked it, and then flicked somebody off. Crestwood.
That's crazy.
Dude, we just got that on our podcast.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll be able to see it.
That's crazy. That just happened.
I know. I see people get mad on Facebook about stuff like that all the time.
Wait, so what just happened when
She,
she
like-
saw the Kamala sign? And
She
then
pulled it.
ripped
I saw her pulling it out of the ground, and then she like flipped it over and kicked it. It was this like 60-year-old lady.
Yeah,
She's-
yeah. That house right there. It's like it's a duplex. So I guess she's in half of it, but I don't know. But she was looking up the hill. There are a lot of Kamala signs. There are a ton of Kamala signs right around here.
Yeah.
Dude, that's
she was
crazy.
looking
She
up
lives
the
in
hill.
half the house, and she was like, got pissed and then ripped it out.
It looked like she flicked somebody off across the street. So I feel like it might have been a neighbor across the street that put it in their yard.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Everything that just happened
man.
was crazy.
Wow.
That is nuts, man. Election.
Man.
Anyway.
This neighborhood is tense.
Anyway,
Election's like, what is it? Not this
It's
week.
like a week away.
Like November 6th, right? Or November
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, why don't we talk about politics? Don't you want to know?
Oh
what
no,
I
we're
think
out of
about?
time. We can't talk about politics. Dang it.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for listening. Cheerio, then.
Bye.
Welcome to the secret segment where all the secret things are going to be talked about.
We didn't even do outro music at all.
Well,
Oh, we haven't done any noises.
yeah.
Welcome to the secret segment.
Sorry, I just want to know what they do. What's this
That's
one?
the
Nothing.
song.
I guess I didn't
Like,
say.
do the
I guess we
balloon
didn't say
again?
anything that would. Yeah, that makes sense.
Lucy.
Gosh,
That's Lean In Girls.
I'm sorry.
Wow, there you go.
I did want to. I've been thinking about this lately. The type of person who puts a political sign in their yard, or like a bumper sticker, and I don't care if it's Trump or Harris or Biden or anyone.
Or freaking
all of them.
Adolf Hitler.
Like all of them. I can't think of a person who I would want to talk to or be friends with who's done that.
I was talking to a.
Wow.
I just think that's like I don't know.
No, I think you're. Well, what's interesting to me is that there's a lot of like. I see a ton of Kamala signs.
Yeah, they're
There's
all
a
over
lot of those.
Crestwood.
I think you kind of have to get a little more rural Alabama to get to where the Trump signs are. I haven't seen any Trump signs in
In
like,
Gardendale, there are several billboards that
Okay,
are
that
like
makes sense.
vote for
But so,
Trump.
so I was talking to somebody who's a big Trumpy, and they were saying like, I see all these Kamala signs. Is like, and I was like, why don't you put a Trump sign in your yard, like kind of, tongue in cheek? And they were like, oh no, I would, people don't like people with a Trump sign in their yard. I was like, I mean, I'm not saying I think that they're wrong. It's just it's interesting that even like the most stark Trump supporters also understand that they're going to be disliked
yeah.
if they are known to be.
I don't know. It's so it's a divisive thing.
I agree. But the thing is, I haven't seen any.
There's
I know
one
that there
on
are a lot
Fifth
of Trump.
Terrace here.
I know that there are plenty of
think
people who are
that's-
going to vote for Trump. But
I feel like it's.
I don't know. I just haven't seen the signs. Like I've
Yeah.
seen a ton of Kamala signs, but I also I resonate with what
I
you're
feel
saying.
like at least
not
in,
as harshly.
in this like little.
Yeah, maybe I'm being dramatic a little bit. It's just like I don't understand what goes into someone's brain where they're like, "Yeah, I'm
I
gonna
want
put
to
a sign out.
publicly declare.
I'm gonna
what
put
I am.
Harris obviously
This
in
is
my
going to
yard.
change someone's mind.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm gonna
I don't know what
put
the reason-
"Save America" Trump. Like I don't understand.
I feel like one of the postures that I sense. And granted, this is me, and I might be wrong, but one of the postures that I sense, at least in this little neck of the woods in Crestwood, is people who have political leanings tend to like. This isn't actually this isn't really us, but I feel like people who put signs up in their yard are definitely like, I'm a good person because I did this.
Virtue signaling.
Yeah, it's virtue signaling. It really has nothing to do with like candidacy support. That's the thing for me is like back in the day, whenever people like, I still don't know if this is true because this might be me like idealizing the past, but I feel like back in the day, whenever like freaking I don't know, like Ronald Reagan or like somebody else, I don't know who he ran against, but like back in the day, you could just genuinely be like, yeah, like I just got excited about this guy, and I kind of want to wear it like a just because I'm excited about him, the potential of him being the president, and then it has nothing to do with like, you're a bad person if you disagree with me or something like that. But I feel like nowadays it's almost 100% this latter part of that, where it's like, oh, you disagree with me, you're a bad person. I'm putting this sign in my yard to make sure you know that.
Yeah.
You know?
What do you think of local government signs? I feel like those are fine.
Yeah, I think local government
when I see that, I'm like,
awesome.
oh, your cousin is that person.
I did my 4th grade English teacher, her brother was running for something, and I remember our room had a ton of these signs because for whatever reason she was storing some of the signs for him, so like half of our room was like,
yeah. Like Alan has like a nephew who's in politics, and he'll just randomly be like, hey, whenever you're voting, you should vote for Tommy, Jimmy, Billy, whatever.
Yeah.
Something like, howdy ho.
How's it going?
How's it going? No, you're fine. You're fine. We're just recording a podcast. You know how guys in their 20s are. They just record podcasts. Yeah. It's called word of mouth.
Yeah. We did talk about the neighborhood today.
Talked about that.
A minute ago, a woman right down there saw a Harris Walls sign and then ripped it out and kicked it and then flicked off a neighbor. So
that's most of what
that was crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, like right there.
Right there. She was in this duplex right here, and then she looked up the hill, tore it off, and then flicked off somebody on the top of the hill.
It was crazy.
So we did talk about the neighborhood today.
Yeah.
But we kind of just talk about whatever.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, I
cheers.
see y'all.
Word of mouth. Yeah. That's actually crazy if you
That's
listen
funny.
to it. Yeah. So he's the AirPod in. I feel like if I was a post office guy in this neighborhood, because it's a street mail. It's like we don't have mailboxes. We have like mail boxes on our house. Well, they have a mailbox right there. That's not.
I wonder how many miles he walks.
Dude, he needs to have a Garmin, bro.
Yeah. For real. He's wearing like boots.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would for sure throw a podcast in. I mean, I throw a podcast in doing any work. So.
Doing anything. I'm like, can I listen to this podcast while I study? While I read? Can I?
Yeah, I do have to pause it sometimes when I'm actually like doing work that requires my brain.
I definitely should. Yeah.
It's crazy, man. I listened to so many podcasts when we started this thing, and now I just don't. I don't know what it is.
I still listen to so many.
Maybe because I traded my podcast listening time in for podcast recording. This is my prime. I wouldn't be able to listen. I don't know why that is. I'm going to do a deep dive. I'm going to do a deep soul audit.
What do you do in your free time now? Austin, what do you do in your free time?
What am I doing in my free time?
We've just been getting the house ready for a while now. But it's mostly
Austin just moved it 2 months ago.
Yeah. And I've got another test I have to take, so just study and whatever. But after that, I'll figure out something.
Yeah.
Something fun.
Woodworking.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I will. I've got those benches. I'll start next week, which will be fun.
We started a woodworking text message group chat. DM me if you want to be in it.
I honestly...
Anyone who's listened for almost 2 hours to this podcast is welcome to join our group message about woodworking.
Anytime that I've had free time lately, I try to figure out how to get to Essex to play ping pong. I will be so
That's
honest.
crazy.
I am addicted.
You're texting all 6 of the guys who live there.
Addicted to ping pong these days.
They have it set up in an apartment.
Yeah, it's in the basement.
Essex?
In the garage.
They have a garage?
Yeah.
Oh.
They have
I've never even been in an Essex apartment. I thought they were just apartments.
No, they're like
It's like a
4
large space.
stories tall plus a basement garage.
They're humongous.
They're
Gosh.
giant. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not like one little thing. Like if you go into an apartment,
Oh.
it's all 3 stories. Is like
It's probably like
Oh.
20 feet wide or something. It's
Jeez.
very tall.
Yeah, they're like brownstones, I think is what they're called. The ones in Brooklyn, like tall and skinny. But yeah, they have enough room. Like in their basement, they have a drum set, an office, a barber shop, a barber shop. They have one barber seat with like a barber setup that Sam Edens cuts hair at, and then a ping pong table.
How much does he charge?
He doesn't. It's like charge whatever, or it's like pay whatever you want, I think. Well, actually, maybe not.
I think he's doing pay you what you want. I'm pretty sure.
It's either pay what you want or like $10. It was one or the other. But I told him.
Okay.
Because he doesn't have like a barber's license or something.
yeah.
He's just trying to learn.
I told him that we're on the secret segment. We can do this. I don't think this will affect anybody's payment. But like, I feel like if you do pay what you want in a setting like that, like if Kellen did that, it probably would be a little bit different. But in that type of setting, I feel like people would pay more than $10.
Yeah, when you said pay what you want, I was like 15 was like what I thought.
Yeah,
probably.
Or it would be like, I mean, essentially, I don't know. I feel like you become the judge of like what is
of value
of his time, you know. And I feel like whatever you want, unless you just, I feel like the only scary part is somebody just might be like, I'll go through that. I'll go through that ethical dilemma later, and then they never will pick it back up, and they'll just forget to pay. But maybe that wouldn't happen though. It hasn't been happening, and I feel like if I got my hair cut by a guy, he would have to tell me it was only $10. But I also am so used to paying, like, because Kellen's
spency.
Kellen's 45, so 10 seems like, wow, that's how much electricity this guy used, to cut my hair this past hour. So I don't know. But apparently he's like got a great setup. He's doing good haircuts, and apparently, I've heard from the guys who've got their haircut there that Sam is an incredible barber conversationalist.
Well, yeah, that's a given.
Well,
props to him.
I just
him.
need an easy haircut that I don't know. Like I want to get a haircut like twice a month, but I don't want to spend that much because I've like just the basic boy haircut.
You for sure should go to him then. Yeah.
That's why I asked, because I mean I can I'll walk to a place close to work like during lunch and pay $20, which is fine. That's still really cheap for a haircut.
He could definitely get you right. If you're just getting if you're just like, hey, I need it to be shorter, then he's your guy.
I
am a little bit too prim and proper.
I was going to say, I'm extremely peculiar about my hair.
Peculiar.
I need a haircut.
How peculiar.
It took me like 3 years to find someone in Birmingham who I trusted to cut my hair.
And now it's
Kellen.
Okay. Yeah.
I had this lady who cut my hair from the time I was like 6 to the time I went to college. And for the first couple of years of college, I would go back to Mississippi to get my hair cut.
Dude, I think it's fascinating. Wow. I switched over to Charlie at Zephyr, and Kellen was like stoked because I think that Kellen gets more excited about getting other guys off their feet than because you have to book him out. I think you still have to book him like a week and a half out, even though he raised his prices. And Charlie like can't get a full book, like, or at least whenever I started doing it. Now he's probably pretty full, but he was like, I was like, dude, I'm gonna be honest, like I got Charlie because I needed a haircut today, and he's like, oh, sick. And the next time I went and did it, I signed up for a haircut with him, and then I showed up, and he had gotten it set up on the thing where Kellen was like supervising Charlie's haircuts, which I didn't know that whenever I signed up for it online. But I showed up, and then like because it was me and Kellen are like boys, Kellen didn't supervise it at all. I just got my haircut with Charlie, and it was like, this is it. I think Charlie's like awesome. He's just as good. He's cheaper. And then also I was like, Kellen, if it doesn't hurt your feelings, like I'm just gonna use Charlie. And he was like, please.
Yeah.
I was like, sick.
Yeah.
And I think he probably gets excited about racking up barbers.
Yeah, and he wants to be like, I mean, I know he loves being a barber, but he also
kind of wants warlord future.
Yeah, like when I was in a group when I was in a group with him for like 2 years in college, I remember the way he would talk about it was way more like a business owner.
Yeah.
This was before Zephyr Open, where he was like, I really want to start like he would like business is kind of what I think interests him more than even cutting hair.
Dude, what was that guy that was in the group with you? The redheaded guy?
JB.
What is he doing,
John
man?
Barry.
He's a good dude.
He just got accepted into the Chick-fil-A leadership program thing.
Let's freaking go.
Which he's wanted to do since I've met him.
6 years.
As a sophomore in college, that's what he wanted to do. And I think he graduated with a business degree. He worked like hourly wage at Chick-fil-A for like 4 years or 3 years. And then he just got accepted. So this has been like what but he's got a kid.
Come on.
I haven't talked to him in a long time, honestly. But
isn't he from here? And he did. I'm trying to remember his connection to you. Did y'all run track together?
Track and Young Life, and then he switched over to like doing decathlon his sophomore year. So I trained with him a little bit then. But no, he grew up like in Rome, Georgia. He grew up. His parents were foster parents in the whole like dwarf house Chick-fil-A thing that they do. Yeah,
that was sick.
So
dude, that's sick. Huh? How about that?
Anyways.
Hey, well, shout out JB, friend of the pod. Now he is. Hey, guys, thanks so much for listening. We love you, you Whommers. We freaking love you.
Thanks, Austin.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Any last words?
I'm just really thankful that I was the first choice today.
Any last words, Myers?
We're always grateful for our listeners. Always.